Os, my name is Jason Angove and I'm an instructor at the Takao branch of Daidojuku in Tokyo, Japan. And today's tip is spearing knees. So knees are something that I had a lot of success with in Kudo competition. But when I watch some guys in competition trying to throw knees, they're not able to do a lot of damage with them. And this comes down to a technique problem. I was able to use my knees to do a lot of damage and sometimes knocking opponents down and scoring points. And so today I want to share with you some tips to make your knees more effective. Okay, so first we want to practice the long knee, because this is how you're going to learn how to really pierce your knee in and do damage with it. Point number one is about the trajectory of your knee. You don't want it going in an upward arc like this. You want it stabbing or spearing into your opponent. So a good drill to help you learn that: put one hand on the wall for balance. Lift your knee up so it's 90 degrees with your body. Okay. Point your toe, heel to butt. Okay. And this will help make your knee more compact, harder, and also sharper. Okay. Rather than being like this, where your knee is still not completely compact, the bones still move around, you can injure yourself, and it's not as sharp an object as this is, and not as hard either. So bend that knee, tuck your foot to your butt. Okay, from there you're going to thrust your hip forward. Thrust, thrust, thrust the hip forward. Now this is not lean back. Some people make the mistake of thinking it's a lean back. I'm just leaning back. But that's pulling the power away from your knee. You want your knee going forward. So rather than leaning back, I'm crunching my core, trying to keep my body upright as possible. With the thrust of the hips, your body will move slightly. It will lean slightly, but I'm not purposely leaning. I'm actually trying to stay as upright as possible. Okay? So practice thrusting with the hips. Bring it up, thrust it, put it down. Bring it up, thrust it, put it down. Okay. Once you got the hang of that action, you can start doing it from your stance. Okay? Step one, I want you to step with your base foot and push into the floor. This is what gives you explosive, fast, powerful energy. Okay? So you push into the floor and you raise your knee up and you thrust it in. Okay? Your arms, your right arm can swing down behind you to help with this thrusting momentum. Your other hand should be guarding your head. There are different guards. Some people like to do this kind of long guard and guard themselves like this. Okay? Or even like this. I prefer this. But what I don't like about that is when you come down, you have to pull your hand back in order to strike. I like to be ready to parry, strike straight away. So once I got used to the swinging motion, I actually made it more compact, and I just do this and focus on crunching my core. So it's a smaller movement, and my hands are always ready to go. Boom. So I'm just like pulling my elbow back. Oh, Notice I'm pushing on the ball of my foot, okay? I'm thrusting my hips. I'm bending my knee. This will give you a driving knee attack that will really do damage to your opponent. So that spearing knee attack I just showed you is something you can do as a counter to a punching attack. But what I often use the knee for is in a clinch, obviously. And there's a way that I do it that I find really effective, and that is creating space for my hips. Okay? In Kudo competition, guys tend to end up clashed together in this kind of a close clinch situation. Sometimes guys try to come in because they want to throw you, so they're coming in to try and throw you. So what I always do as soon as I clinch is I try to create a frame. I use my bent arm against the body of my opponent, getting my hand behind his neck for control. okay? And I use my other hand on his arm, inside his arm, curling my hand over his bicep. Oh, Bobby doesn't have any arms, so it's a bit hard to show, but it looks like a praying mantis hand, and I hook it over his arm. This prevents him from hitting me with this hand, okay? And it gives me a good control of his body with his head. And I extend my arm into him. I extend my shoulder, and I use this bone pushing in straight into my body to create a frame that won't move. So no matter how much he pushes me, it pushes my whole body back, and I keep my stance, and I keep this space between our hips. And that space is what allows me to throw a good solid knee. So he's trying to clinch, he's trying to pull me in. I'm creating space with my frames, and boom! In goes a spearing knee, okay? Create space, use a good bow stance. This is where a bow stance is really good. He can push me back, I'll keep this position, okay? If he's aggressively pushing forward, that's great. I'll use my frame to hold him at bay, and bam! In goes the knee, bam! Okay? Bam! And finish with an elbow, or whatever you want to do from there. Okay? Now, it's important you do this as quickly as possible. So whenever you find yourself entering into a clinch, up, boom, straight away, create that frame, hit the knee. This will help stop him thinking about what he wants to do to you and start worrying about what you're doing to him, okay? So you can't just hang out there in this position for a long time. You want to create the frame, create the space between your hips, and throw the knee, boom, and switch, throw the knee. Throw as many knees as you can. Add in the elbows, the headbutts. Switch it up. High, boom, low, boom, switch, boom, boom, boom. Okay? Poor Bob here doesn't have a stand. I got this Bob, he doesn't have a stand. I looked on the internet, can't find a stand anywhere that was shipped to Japan. So, if you know where I can get a stand for Bob, leave a comment, please. This setup is just not working. Another type of frame is going across the front. This is also useful, so I have sleeve control, and I also have my arm across the front of his neck and a downward angle across his chest. This also works. You can also grip onto the back of his gi and use this as a control, as a good frame. Boom, boom, okay? This frame works good too. And you can tuck your chin in to protect yourself from strikes. Honestly though, when I get in a clinch and I throw a knee quickly, it shuts down his ability to punch me. I don't find it's that big of a problem. When I've got control of his body, his shoulders, it's hard for him to put any power into his punches, and I'm just gonna knee him hard and make him think about what I'm doing to him. Okay? If he's a southpaw, I'll often do the opposite side. Okay? I'll reach across with my right hand, sleeve control, frame against his body. He pushes, I keep that space, and boom. Okay? Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, Bob.
聞いてる効果
one last thing to add. You can also, when you get control of your opponent's gi, okay, so lapel and sleeve control, you can use this kind of pulling motion to off balance your opponent. So you get in the clinch, you create your frame, you throw a knee, and boom, boom. I drop my body weight down, I bend my knees as I pull my opponent down. This will pull him forward, then opening up for the knee, keeping him off balance, making it hard for him to counter strike, and giving me control over what's happening, okay? You can add circling into that to further disrupt his balance. So I've grabbed him, I've got control, I've got a frame, a knee, I've pulled around, boom, pull, boom, boom, pull, boom, pull, boom. And this way, I'm keeping him out of balance, unable to land, throw good strikes at me, and I'm just spearing him with knees until he goes down or they break us up. So that's it. Your tip for today, spearing knees. Work on them. This is especially good for taller, longer fighters who have long legs. If you're like a taller, skinnier kind of guy, you should be using knees. If you're not, then you're not taking good advantage of your natural attributes. So get on it. This is a weapon that will really help you. Os.